Oh, hey, thanks. Yeah, I was like worried. I was like, they're gonna fire me. I'm like, but it was very carefully worded, but I got my point across, and yeah, I'll touch base on it. But thanks.
Sure.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call this meeting of the Sylva Town Commissioners to order. You should have your agenda packet with you. The first thing on our agenda is to approve our agenda. I would like to have a motion for that.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Okay, we have a motion to approve our agenda. Is there any kind of discussion? Okay, all those in favor, Amanda, if you would.
Barbara,
Yes.
Mary,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Greg. Greg, you're muted.
Yes.
Ben,
Yes.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the consent agenda, which is also in your packet. Again, we need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Barbara. We have a motion to approve our consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, if you would, Amanda.
Mary,
Yes.
Barbara,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Greg,
Yes.
Ben.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion is approved. We have no public comment tonight, so we will move on to our reports. For Mayor's report, I just would like to wish everybody a happy new year and hope that 2021 is going to be a better year for all of us than last year was. I have no other comments, so I'll move on to commissioners. Barbara?
I agree with you. I hope this is going to be a much better year, 2021. And I think we're doing better about wearing masks. I'm certainly hoping we are, because this is spreading so fast and so furious. But Joe and I are very lucky. We have appointments for our COVID on the 27th. So we'll feel a lot better once we could at least get that done. So I'm hoping you all are staying well. I miss seeing all of you. And you all look pretty nice tonight when I look around at you.
Thank you, Barbara. Mary?
No report. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. David?
Well, it's just good to see everybody again. I've missed our meetings, and I don't really have a report. I was hoping, Ben, if you would, in your report, kind of talk about the COVID situation. I don't know if you were planning to already, but that'd be the only request I have. And that's it.
Thank you, David. Greg?
Thank you. Yeah, Happy New Year, everybody. It's really nice to see you also. 2021. So far, I want my subscription back, but yeah, hopefully it's going to be better. I was just wondering if maybe we had any of those extra sidewalk decals. Some of them are sort of showing their age so far downtown, but I agree with you, Barbara. I've been happy to see locals and tourists alike respecting that rule. So yeah, that's really all that I had.
Thank you, Greg. And we'll check with Amanda and Paige to see if we have any more of those stick-ons. If not, if the budget allows, we should be able to get some more. Thank you. Ben, I did want to mention that your editorial was good. It just really brings home the point, and I'm as I told you, I'm so sorry for all of the healthcare workers. And what touched me most is the nurses on the floor who are getting so attached to the people that have been there for a month or so, and then they lose them. So thank you for that. Thank you for that editorial.
You want me to go now?
Mhm.
Okay, thanks. So, yeah, so I'll talk about COVID in a second. But first off, so a retreat. I still think we can do a retreat on Zoom, and I think we really need it, especially going into this year. Linda, Paige, I don't know what your thoughts are, but if we could schedule something on Zoom, I think it would be totally fine on Zoom just to sit down and, it'd be nice to go somewhere, but we can't. So, so a Zoom retreat would be really good. So we can just, kind of sit down and just throw stuff out there and, get our thoughts. So I'd like to request we do that. Yesterday I was on a call with Sylva, which is the folks that are working on multi-use trails at Pinnacle, and we're really excited. They've got some trails already kind of mapped out. They've been out there walking around. They've been, the way they've got it set up, it's going to be awesome. So, and they've also working with the tribe to kind of come from the other side up at Black Rock. But there's going to be, there's going to be a formal presentation to y'all in probably in February. We're kind of picking a date, but there's going to have, there'll be nice running, walking trails down below, kind of where the Pinnacle stuff is now. And then it'll shoot off if people are going to start mountain biking, and those will be a little more difficult. There's various degrees of difficulty there. It's going to be amazing. What else am I going to say? Yeah, and they talked about having 3 different trailheads as well. One thing that came up even now that they said that when they were there the other day, just for checking things out, without any kind of mountain biking going on, that parking lot there is already starting to overflow. I mean, Pinnacle's a pretty popular place. So that might be something that we start to kind of think about, seeing as it's the town, looking at, make the parking lot bigger. That might be something also that they can work on with their grant, just something for us to kind of kick around. But I think even if nothing happens, that parking lot's already starting to overflow a little bit. So the third thing and Happy New Year to everybody, by the way. And and so the COVID thing. So I think y'all saw my letter to the editor. It's that bad, and it sucks. It's last week when I was in there, I worked 4 days in a row, and it was just like COVID. And it's just, everybody's got COVID, and people come in, they're like, oh yeah, the whole family's got it, but this person's sick. The elderly couples that come in, and we're trying to give them the monoclonal antibodies, which don't really seem to, at best, they keep 1 person out of 10 from going in the hospital. So it's not a cure in any way. I can't remember the last time there's been an ICU bed, and I've never had anything like I did when I went in there, and Mission goes on diversion. They're not accepting patients other than like trauma and heart attacks or something. And there's nowhere to send anybody, and we're calling and there's nowhere. Charlotte's full. As I mentioned in the editorial, like every place is full, and I've never been in that position before where I'm sitting on patients on ventilators in the ER. And our job is to kind of get, if they need to be on a ventilator, we can do that, but we're just not really set up. And we're trying to adjust, but we're not set up to kind of manage people, day after day in there. And it's just, at this point in time, it's like, consider everybody you're talking to that has COVID. So it's just that bad. And it's just so hard. The nurses and everything are just, I've never seen them they're just so tired. I walk in and they're just beat down, and these are ER nurses, and they've been doing this a long time, and they're tough. But yeah, and I just saw someone a couple of days ago, you know, he's 44 years old, and you know, he's in there and he's on so much oxygen, and it's just like he's so scared. And that's the thing that just, you know, you don't know how these are going to go. You know, I mean, some people are going to make it through, and some people aren't. You know, we've lost some kind of pillars of the community already, and it's going to be hard, and we just got to get through this. It's not over. When you get the vaccine, you know, everybody please get the vaccine, but you're still, you know, it's a month, 6 weeks before you have real immunity. So, and I know people have been doing what they can to keep this going, but it's just like, everybody needs to dig deep. Like, we're digging deep, taking care of folks in the ER, and I'm just asking the community to dig deep too. So yeah, and I guess that's all I can say about that. But it's here. I just want that to be clear that it's here.
Anything else, Ben? Thank you for giving us that report. I know it's hard, so thank you for all you do. Next, we have the manager's report.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So the Harriet Tubman Journey to Freedom sculpture, I spoke with Marsha Lee Baker on the phone earlier this week, and she said that we've got an opportunity to keep it an additional month so it'll arrive September the 20th and then is scheduled for November the 20th. But she said that the artist is willing to let it stay at Bridge Park another month. So I checked the Bridge Park calendar, and I don't see any conflicts with that. We don't have any large events scheduled that would need the stage during that time. But if you all don't see any issues with that, I'll contact her tomorrow and let her know that we would love to keep it another month.
Sounds good to me, everybody. All right, Paige.
Okay, wonderful. So exciting. So Greenie at the Mountains, we're looking at Saturday, August the 28th, since we know that April is too risky. I think we'll know in May whether what kind of situation we're in with the vaccine. But so we're going to start planning for Saturday, August the 28th. And Kendra Ham is going to coordinate the festival again. Please remember to put the January 21st Planning Board meeting on your calendar. This is a Zoom presentation from Withers Ravenel to both the Planning Board and the Town Board on our ordinance update and 160D, or our ordinance rewrite and our 160D legislative updates. So I'm excited to get that project going.
What time on that day?
It's 5:30. Thank you. Please also remember our first budget planning work session is January the 28th, immediately after our meeting. Plan on this work session lasting between 2 and 3 hours. We held interviews last week in hopes of filling the officer vacancy at the police department. And then Jake and I were excited to hear that presentation from Sylva on trail possibilities at Pinnacle Park, Black Rock, and Shut-in Creek. This will be given to you all sometime in hopefully the next month. But also North Carolina Land and Water, which was formerly Clean Water Management Trust Fund, and Mainspring sat in on this meeting. So they heard the concept at the same time, which was very helpful. And Sorba's sharing their GIS data with them so they can review where they're trying to plot out potential trails. I've submitted the final report for the Black Rock Creek grant, and I submitted the Jackson County Municipal Grant application for the extension of the sidewalk on Main Street that will go to the intersection of Main Street and Mill Street on the north side, along the side of Ilda, or formerly Meatballs. So I'll let you know as soon as I hear back on that. Do you all have any questions?
No questions, but I just want to comment. It looks, just speaking of the former Meatballs there, which was before my time, but it's really cool, that gazebo that's going up and that wall they put up. It's looking so awesome there. This is going to be such a great little spot.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you, Paige. Any other comments? Okay, do we have a Main Street report?
I don't have one from Julie, but I sat in on their meeting. We talked a lot about greening up the mountains, and they're planning a sidewalk sale February the 27th. And they're just moving forward with lots of spring planning.
Good. Thank you. You don't have a fire department report tonight, so we will move on to our new business, which we have one agenda item, which is a closed session. Do I have a motion to go into closed session? Mary?
I will make that motion. If you'll give me just a minute to pull it up. Pursuant to General Statute 143-318-11A5 concerning property acquisition, we are going to be discussing real property acquisition with Mainspring for land adjacent to Pinnacle Park. The purpose of the acquisition will be for recreational opportunities and for conservation.
Thank you, Mary. We have a motion. All those in favor of going into closed session, Amanda?
Barbara? Barbara, you're muted.
Did you hear me that time?
No.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. How did you vote?
Yes.
Mary?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Greg?
Yes.
Ben?
Yes.
Okay. Motion is approved. We will now go into closed session. Hey, Chief.